sacral individuals. Today's video is going to be about celebrities. So we're going to be decoding Mr. Tom Hanks's Saturday Night Live's performance. This video took me ages to make, so please consider liking or subscribing if at all you enjoyed this video. Just a little warning, obviously I'm not aware exactly what's happened to Tom and where he is and everything else that's going on in his life, but I can only speculate, and I thought I'd take you along on my analysis of his NSL performance, because I read some things into the performance and it didn't seem like anyone else covered this. Okay, so Tom, as you know, was diagnosed with the crown beer flu, we should call it, and he did a monologue on SNL. Now, that show is notorious for weird pizza sketches and sketches with little kids in it and very inappropriate things in itself. And I think it's kind of a way of the upper or the people in the know communicating with each other. But regardless, Tom performed on that as well. So some people believe Tom was arrested for his crimes against people, children. People believe Tom is not where he says he is because it looked like he was captured. But regardless, we're just going to look at what could possibly be going on. So originally, why would he be performing on the show? I think he didn't really get the flu. It was just a pre-planned for propaganda purposes. So it was pre-planned. He was going to go on the show, did a little sketch, just to keep it fresh in the audience minds. Because at event 201, they said they're going to have it's a pre-planned stimulation of how this virus is going to go. Coincidentally, it occurred in October 2019, right before we had the real outbreak. But anyway, they said they're going to have influencers who's going to get it, and then it'll make the audience more concerned about really getting it, because they're not going to take news seriously. So anyway, so why would he originally be doing this? It's pre-planned to propagate the illness. His personal motivation to do this, whether he's captured or not, might be to inform his tribe, to inform the people on his side on what's happening. And if he was captured by good officials, they might have allowed him to do this performance, as it gets them to know more information about what's going on, because obviously they decode things for a living. So why would they be using symbolism? Firstly, it desensitizes the audience. Even the name Saturday Night Live, it's abbreviated to SNL, which originally stands for Sex, Nudity and Language, which immediately puts you in that vulgar state of mind. Then it also gets the message out on large scale, so they can throw their symbols out at the Oscars or wherever, and their message gets to everyone in the know, and the sheep won't know. Then it shows loyalty to their specific group, because I think there's like different segments of control, and or maybe different steps, so maybe it shows their loyalty to a specific group. It also can show their group ranking. Maybe if they move up the ladder, they have to show a different symbol. I think they also have this notion of, if they don't throw it out in the open what they're going to do, they're going to get back karma. So they have to kind of tell you what they're going to do. Otherwise, they believe they'll get bad karma. And then also, they believe a large focus on something enhances the power. So if we all focus on on a specific symbol with a specific vibe attached to it, we kind of power those symbols up. this is what they believe, not what I believe. And then lastly, it's to dumb down the audience, because if you don't quite get a joke or something, you just think, oh, whatever, I can't get it. And you just hear the laugh track laughing and you're like, oh, just laugh along. So it dumbs you down. You don't critically think about it. So in the first scene, we see a clock. Um, Obviously, it could just be showing the time of the show. Usually, 12 o'clock is doomsday. It's used to symbolize doomsday. It can also be a sign of time running out for their global plan to occur. And it can be a sense of the end of the old day is almost near. It's almost the start of a new day. Then the typewriter. Now, Tom took a specific brand that correlates with the crown flu. Um, he took that same typewriter all the way to Australia, apparently. Now, a typewriter could be a symbol of narrating the story. Madonna also has a typewriter, and I think it's because she was also one of the chosen ones to help propagate this illness. Then it's also to help track progress. I think it was in the movie Contagion. It helped track progress of everything happening, and it can be without any electronic trail of what's happening. And then, yeah, like I mentioned, the brand was also very suspicious. I also found this. This was in the Iowa Journal of Cultural Studies about vampire contagion in Dracula. Anyway, and it says the typewriter and phonograph, although 19th century innovations, serve as pathways to atavistic horror by conjuring up contagious and unanswerable anonymity that characterizes the undead. Dracula continues to salute critical intention, especially by deconstructionists and media studies scholars, because it's delighted in scrambling the sexual, legal, and moral codes by which the social cultural order consolidates itself. By throwing crushed establishments into crisis, vampirism exposes the historical contingency. The outbreak of the past in the present signifies the continued existence of primitive barbarism in a seemingly enlightened age. Although the story told in Stoker's novel stresses the Eastern foreignness and the antiquity of the vampire, the text itself made it clear that the monster without reflection in the mirror in fact represents a horrific side of the Western modernity. So this was also curious to me because that sounds exactly like what they're trying to do. These people trying to crush our standards of what age is appropriate for intercourse with younger kids. They're trying to crush that. They're trying to crush the established systems, and they're trying to create a one world order. So let's go on to the next scene. Here we can see, I'm not very good with identifying green screens, but people in the know have definitely pointed out that that is definitely a green screen. And in the first few moments, Tom is nervously rubbing his hands, and you could really see he is nervous. In the next scene, we see Tom is bald. Now, he says it's for a movie. Some people think that's very suspicious because no movies are shooting at the moment. I don't think it's too suspicious. It could have been for a movie. Some people believe it's his brother. I don't really think it's his brother because I look closely at their ears and at his nose, and it seems like Tom's ears and nose to me. He also then mentions something about it's quicker in the shower. And think back in history, I'm not going to read the word off the screen here, but where people got captured, their heads shaven, and thrown into showers, if you get what I'm saying. Also, it could just be because he's imprisoned, they try to shave his head because it takes away a sense of pride and attachment. I don't quite get the psychology behind that, but I would certainly feel attached or I certainly feel vulnerable if my hair was taken away. And then also some people just believe it's to help the green screen behind him. Tom then goes on to make a joke, and then he says, I'm the celebrity canary in a coal mine. Now, what does it mean to be a canary in a coal mine? A canary in a coal mine is an advanced warning of some danger. The metaphor originates from times when miners used to carry caged canaries while at work. If there was any methane or carbon monoxide in the mine, the canary would die before the levels of gas reached those hazardous to humans. And if you just think of the image of a canary sings, or as we say, tells on someone. So I don't know if he's first of the celebrities to go, but or if he's warning his fellow tribe members that he's telling on them. But it is interesting to think about. Then he says, I'm more like America's dad like ever before because no one wants to be around me and I make people uncomfortable. So it's like, are they mad at him because he made people uncomfortable? I couldn't quite figure that one out. Then, who was America's previous dad? It was Bill Cosby. And I found this tweet from Bill Cosby um, that declared himself America's dad in a bizarre Father's Day tweet. Despite being behind bars for assault, the disgraced actor is still preaching family values. Bill Cosby may be behind bars for sexual assault, but he considers himself America's dad. The disgraced TV star said as much in a bizarre Father's Day tweet on Saturday. Hey, 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 it's America's dad, Cosby wrote in a tweet. I know it's late, but to all of the dads, it's an honor to be called a father. So let's make today a renewed oath to fulfilling our purpose, strengthening our families and our communities. Now, if you don't know, Bill Cosby was highly popular on a TV show, and then he was alleged sex offender, so he got put in jail. So I don't know if you can tweet from jail. I think it's probably his managers, or I feel like most celebrities and presidents aren't really using their own Twitter. But yeah, people got very mad at that. So in these rituals, someone has to step up to the plate. So Tom Hanks says he's America's dad. He's taking that position, and hopefully not with the allegations to follow as well. Anyway, then he goes down when he says, down in Australia, almost like he was taken down. Then he shows his hand in a gun position. Now, this might just be referencing those shooter temperature meters, but it also can mean he was held at gunpoint, like it was his life, or he had to spill information. And then he makes a joke about Hollywood that doesn't like old women. He said something about 36 is fine, but 38 is bad, and it's about Fahrenheit meets Celsius. It's a different conversion, so he was confused. Now, Fahrenheit meets Celsius at minus 40, and 40 is the number of spiritual rebirth. In the Bible, it says Moses was with God 40 days and 40 nights on Mount Sinai. Jesus was tempted by the devil for 40 days. Noah endured 40 days of the flood. 12 spies explored the promised land for 40 days. Goliath presented himself for 40 years. And Moses led Israel out of the desert for 40 years. So it's a time of temptation, a difficult time of temptation, and then spiritual rebirth if you succeed. So, like he said, it turns out 36 is fine, 38 is bad. So I kind of looked at what those numbers mean. I'm not too concerned with gematria because I feel like you can find weird stuff with any number if you look into it. But these are some interesting things I found. The sum of the numbers 1 to 36 gives 666, the number of the beast in Revelation. Then it says gematria, numerical values of the Hebrew words REL, meaning tent or tabernacle, Ike, meaning how, El, meaning to curse, Bidl, meaning to separate, and Ella, meaning to remove, and Vidvi, meaning confession, gives 136. So if we look at these these words, tabernacle, how, to curse, separate, remove, confession, these might be things that's related to what's happening to him. Anyway, then it says the occurrence, the number 36 is used 2 times in the Bible. The word beast is used 36 times in Revelations. The name of Satan 36 times in the New Testament, and the word of faith 36 times in the Old Testament. The word fall is used 36 times in the Bible. The word devil is used 36 times, and the word Satan is 36 times. So yeah, not a great number, and we know the occult loves that number. Then 38, referring to a man cured by Jesus at the pool and who was infirm since 38 years. St. Augustine makes of this number a symbol of the sickness. So that is quite interesting, seeing we are dealing with a sickness, apparently. Lucifer, the will of the devil. Oh, this guy sees there the Lucifer, the will of the devil, represent the principle of cosmic or celestial life, represent the ratio of individual initiation to the cosmic organization, kind of differentiation resulting from an effort of initiative. So yeah, interesting choices of numbers. Then it says the suit. My wife had to help me put it on because I forgot how buttons work. Turns out there are these discs that slide into these slots. Now, I couldn't quite figure that out. I know when you look at Masonry, they have something that represents drawing squares and then something that represents drawing circles as their icon. But I also thought of maybe they have discs and slots, maybe how they have evidence of what he has done. But you can help me figure that out in the comment section. Then it says, the SNL crew that's quarantined in their house just like this. Well, not just like this. You know, I'll let you be the judge of that. So that's just creepy. Like, is he really at home then? And at some point he also said something about chestnuts. Now, chestnuts, this is what I found on chestnuts. A drop from their trees in the fall. As such, they are considered the symbol of harvest, abundance, and preparation. Dreaming of sitting under a chestnut tree is a symbolic of happy times on the horizon after enduring a spell of dissatisfaction. So yeah, I don't know if he's being questioned and he's cooperating, and then he might harvest the benefits of cooperating. I don't know. Then he referenced cue cards 2 times. And if you don't know, the letter Q is a military operation that Trump supports, and it constantly hints at bad guys going down and the actors that are in on it. So that was very interesting that he mentioned cue cards twice. Then he says, just riff, baby, that's what I'm doing. Now, riff in itself completely makes sense in that sentence. It's just making fun of low budget movies, snide or sarcastic comments. Anyway, I also found this. A riff is a wow, what a kill stealer. A kill stealer is someone in a multiplayer video game who waits for someone to weaken their enemy and kills them last second. instead of the person. Very interesting. But I also found this rift is to fornicate. Yeah. So I hope he didn't mean it that way. Then he says, um, Tommy Tim Tam. And Tommy Tim, or if you Google Tim Tam, you get, ooh, a Tim Tam Slam. Now, a Tim Tam is an Australian biscuit, and a Tim Tam Slam is where you drink tea or coffee from the biscuit. But it also has a different meaning. Um, Tim slamming, Tiffany Tam in various ways, such as punching, pushing, or rough. Yeah. So, quite interesting. I hope that's not what it referenced, but that is what I found on Tim Tam. Then he says, what's the secret to your physical regiment? Now, physical regiment. Ooh. But anyway, he says, I just try to stretch a couple of times a week and go easy on the carbs and the cookies. If you're not aware of the relationship, let me just say pizza, pasta, donuts, those things are all carbs. So he says, stretching and go easy on the carbs and the cookies. So that was quite creepy. Then he has a sketch where he's in a checkered t-shirt with a hat on. Now, I don't know if you know what a hat in front of a door means, but yeah. And then a checkered shirt. And why I point out this checkered shirt is because some mainstream media articles all really place emphasis on this image of him with the Vegemite and his hat and his checkered shirt. And he says, I've got a question for Tommy Tim Tam. What's the proper way to get a daily dose of your Vegemite? And he says, all right, enough of that. So why this is interesting is because a checkered shirt, black and white checkers usually means as above, so below. It's a reference to Freemasonry. Then the hat, if you put a cowboy hat in front of your door, that's usually a reference for sex. And then the Vegemite he's holding in gematria, if you count or if you type in Vegemite, you get 33, which is also referencing Freemasonry, order out of chaos. So I think he's referencing, nah, he had enough of that. He's giving up his position in Freemasonry, and he is hopefully turning himself and others in. And just want to take you on a little backtrack to this picture I found on his Instagram. Immediately you can see this is a Photoshop because the glass is on top of the plate and the water isn't tilting. Then it says toast. Then it has toast, and I thought of like, why would he have toast? Maybe he's toast. Then Vegemite, like I said, it referenced Freemasonry, 33, order out of chaos. Then this is kind of to prove he's in Australia. And then you can see bars over here. So I don't know where it was exactly that back then, but I thought this picture was quite interesting. And it made quite a lot of sense while it was referencing he's not in, or he's done with that regarding Freemasonry or regarding Vegemite. Okay, and yeah, that was the show. I think it was a pretty lame show if you were looking for comedy, but I saw comments and everyone was enjoying it so much, and they're like, oh, Tom, you're so great, thanks for keeping our spirits up, I love you, man. So I guess some people found it entertaining. And then lastly, when the screen faded out, this one YouTuber mentioned, um, look at his face. That doesn't look like his face. So maybe it was a green screen or a deep fake. But I guess we won't know until it all comes out. But yeah, I tried really hard to be as thorough as possible in this analysis, and I would really appreciate it if you like, comment, or subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Leave an interesting insight down below, and I can't wait to read it. Bye.